I broke no contact with my awful family, thinking things might be different this time around, but it's been worse than ever and I have nowhere to go. I just need to vent about this because I am incredibly depressed and I feel so alone. I went no contact with my family when I first left for college at 18. It lasted 2 years and then it eventually went low contact because I felt guilty about not talking to them. My mom was extremely abusive. She would strangle us, punch us in our backs, etc. You know how it goes. She never physically abused us when our dad was around, but the verbal abuse was enough to make him consider leaving her. Because of this, I have severe depression and PTSD and I had to go on medical leave from college. My mom begged me to come home for around 2 months before I gave in. I missed having a family and I am so stupid for being weak and giving in. Since I've been back, my mom has been doing weird things. She'll want me to get drunk with her, but I really can't drink alcohol because I'm on Celexa. When I refuse to drink, she'll give me the silent treatment for a few days. I'm always getting the silent treatment and it hurts. Today my mom asked me if I wanted to just live here and not go back to school. That made no sense. Why would I want to not complete my education? Also, I don't like the constant silent treatment, so I don't like being here. I told her that I'd rather go back to school, and she started yelling about how I can just go to the community college here. She started crying about how I didn't love her and my dad told her to stop being so dramatic. My sister came in and asked what happened. When my mom told her, she didn't say anything and just went on her laptop. For some context about my twin sister, she is beyond crazy. She once stalked a man for 6 months because the guy told him that she didn't know what she was talking about and should shut up. She found this guy's identity from a few Reddit comments and started physically mailing him things with death threats. She signed his Reddit username to everything. If I knew she had done this, I wouldn't have come here. My sister then sent me a PM on Reddit that said, "You dumb bitch. I hate you so much. You're a piece of trash and I'm glad you were SA'd. No one loves you and no one ever will, and how effing dare you make my mom upset. She has been kind to you and all she wanted was for you to stay here. You're never going to be anything and I know you've been feeling suicidal, so why stop feeling that way and just go unalive yourself? No one will care. Your boyfriend broke up with you last year and I think that just goes to show that no one cares about you. I hope you get SA'd again, but I should stop talking before you call the cops on me like you used to do to mom when we were kids. There's so much I'd love to say to you, but I don't want you to go snitching and I don't want to be a bully." As soon as I saw that, I started crying and I told my dad. He said my sister was totally out of line, but he can't discipline her because if that's how she feels, she is entitled to feel that way. My mom came in and saw me crying and started laughing uncontrollably. I asked my sister why she would do something like this when I have only been nice to her. I sent her like $400 a month when I was in school because my parents are so poor. I deleted my account immediately and my sister said that she found my account because she snooped around on my laptop when I was out of the house. All my dad had to say about this is that it wasn't nice. I have no idea how to cope with this. My cousin said that I can move in with them next month when they get back in the country, but that's such a long time away. First update, 10 days later, my hands are shaking but I am on the way to a domestic violence shelter. I am very afraid. The family who was going to take me in said that my mom asked them not to get involved and they don't want to make her mad. She didn't even have to know I was there. My entire family has known about the abuse and they tell me it's awful but have never done anything. Not a single thing. I look a mess because it all happened fast. An object was thrown at me and nasty things were said. My life was threatened. I didn't even have time to shower yet. I am at the emergency room getting my medicine. The shelter is paying for it. I'm afraid of getting judged because I actually rolled out of bed and look so awful. But I had to escape. The shelter only gives me 30 days, so at my job interview I think I'll be honest and tell them I really need the job because I'm in a shelter. It's at a cinema, so that would be nice. My friend and her parents live in my college town and said I could stay there. I just have to buy my ticket. Thanks for the encouragement and I hope things will be okay for me. Edit. My dad keeps sending me texts telling me to call him immediately. I am not going to do that. Final update. Wow, so it's been nearly 3 years since I posted on this forum, desperate for help. For some reason, these posts just popped into my head after all this time, and rereading them I just want to hug my former self because I had forgotten how bad things were. I also want to hug all of you for helping me. I wrote down the advice you gave me and I used it. I really did. I may be a little vague to continue to preserve my identity. So here goes the last update to this saga. And it's a happy one. The shelter that I stayed in was very nice and brand new. The staff told me how cramped the other one was, so I'm very lucky that I arrived when I did. After the first day, my nerves relaxed and I could just breathe. There were about 7 other women there and we each had our room with a nice bathroom. I was the youngest there and the other women gave me advice about life and they even did my makeup for interviews. We each took turns cooking, per the rules, and we developed a nice bond. The staff was so amazing and they also talked to me about life. I felt so safe at this place because of the security. Oh, I almost forgot. A church group came to give quilts they had made for us and I still have mine. Sometimes I snuggle with it and think of how far I've come. I love that quilt and I wash it very carefully. We also had group and individual therapy which really helped. I know every shelter experience isn't like this, but please don't be afraid to just leave when things get bad. Family abuse counts as domestic violence. I was able to find a job that paid more than the movie theater offered, and I told them that I didn't plan on going back to school in the future. Yes, it was a lie, but there was no way I could afford rent by working at a movie theater. I decided to look for my own place instead of just staying with a friend that offered because I needed stability, and if things got bad, I didn't really have a support net and would have to start over. I had no reason to think things would go bad, but after leaving such a bad situation, I guess nothing felt secure for me anymore. I rented a room and my roommate was never home because he was a truck driver. I didn't feel very comfortable staying with an older man I didn't know, but I had very few options. He was very nice, and because our schedules never aligned, we left each other goodbye notes since we couldn't do it in person. I still have his note. I did go back to school the next semester when my medical leave was over, but not at my original school. I felt like I needed a fresh start, and my family knew about the old school anyway, so I applied to different schools. I got into a great school. I told my story, of everything I had survived, in the essay. When my sister told me that I wasn't going to be anything, she was wrong. And I think she knew she was wrong in her assessment of me. I graduated this year and I have stability that I've never known before. Although I'm a few years older than I wanted to be when I graduated, I realized that sort of thing doesn't even matter, and the medical leave was beneficial. I just got engaged to a lovely man with a lovely family. They always tell me they're my family, and I'm so close with my future mother-in-law. It still feels weird. I had food poisoning for the first time a few days ago, and my fiancé left the house at 2 a.m. to get Pedialyte just to make sure I was hydrated. And when I felt like I was never leaving the bathroom, he told me he was going to make lentil soup for me. I didn't have to ask or even say anything. When I was a kid and vomiting blood, my mom told me to go back to sleep. It feels nice to be treated this way, and sometimes I catch myself saying, "You don't have to," when he tries to do something nice to me. Anyway, he has 6 siblings and they're like the siblings I never had. I learned to value myself and put myself first. I wasn't loved as a child, and so I do things for myself that I didn't get. No one made me feel special, so I do it myself. I make it a point to buy flowers for myself weekly. A therapist recommended this to me, and it makes a difference. No one cared that I was sick as a child, so I make sure that I rest and relax without disruptions when I'm sick. No one valued my personal time or space, so I have days where I don't even answer my phone and just spend time with myself. Things like that. Thanks again to everyone. When I made that last update, I was crying and I really didn't think I was going to be okay. I was headed to a shelter with a 30-day stay, and I thought there was no way anything beneficial could happen in 30 days. I was very depressed and hopeless, and I had no idea things would have gone in such a positive direction. I'm so beyond thankful.